I know last time I was trying to stream to YouTube, but it wasn't working. But I figured out that after you make your YouTube channel, initially they put like a 24-hour hold before you can go live. So that's why I had that problem. But anyway, so the 24-hour hold is over now. So hopefully this is going to YouTube. If not, I will go back and check after this is done and hopefully can figure something out. Twitch working. I should be on Twitch and YouTube right now. Anyway, I have a few little things to work on tonight. Nothing major. I have to remake my little purse for my mermaid doll. This is the first one I made. And it just unties like this. And then it has this little pearl in it, but I accidentally messed up on the stitching and I stitched through the pearl. And all of the stitching can be seen on the inside. It's supposed to be covered up. There's nothing really wrong with it per se, but I just want to go back and do it right because I'm giving the mermaid and seahorse set as a gift, so I want it to look good. Tie this little bow back up. I'm also, finally, since I have no outstanding orders at the moment, going to take the time to actually put some embroidery on my own bathroom hand towels. I never get tired to make stuff for myself. So I'm going to do that. I have a really pretty design. Well, it's two different ones, but one of them, it's two peonies, and that's really pretty. A peony is my favorite flower. I guess peony, depending on where you come from. Okay, so I have my tearaway hooked up. I am going to check my machine really quickly to be sure there are no fuzzies, which there are. I'm knocking stuff down. Okay, let me get you guys flips down here. Hopefully I can do a better job. My camera was kind of crazy last time. Yeah, I've got a lot of fuzzies in there, so let me be sure I get all those out. I'm just going to take my little tweezers. Bobbin's in the way. Okay. And you can see the little pieces of thread that come out. It's just the thread tails where I have auto cut, and they get caught in there. And I think I said this on my last video, but just be very, very diligent about cleaning out your bobbin case and this entire area down here, because if you let it get full of threads and fuzzies, it can cause problems with the machine or even break the machine. So yeah, it's very important to keep that clean. Put my bobbin back in. So the first thing I'm going to work on is the little shell purse, and then I will do the towels. Get this in here. Okay. And this has it's two parts built into this file. I just got to run it up to the part where I need, because I don't need the fins for the mermaid. I just need the little piece for the purse. Run this up to where I need it. And this is just going to be a little placement stitch for the piece for the pearl, which I actually think I'm going to use a different material than I did on the other one. On this purse, if you can see it, I used the same material for the pearl that I did for the outside, but I think I'm actually going to use a little white, it just dawned on me that I should have put my felt down before I stitched that, but I don't have the directions pulled up, so I'm trying to do this from memory. Last time I didn't have my felt cut quite big enough, so it almost didn't fit. So, okay. Stitch this again. Like I said, I think I'm going to use a more white, like pearlescent material to actually make the pearl. Grab some of that. I'm still here. I'm just looking for fabric. Or not really fabric, I guess, but material. Okay, so I'm going to use this for the pearl because it's got a shimmer to it, and I just think it's really pretty. It looks a little bit more like a quote-unquote real pearl versus the other material. Okay, and this doesn't have a tack down for this, but I am going to go back and run it anyway, just to be sure it holds well, since I have to trim it off. I think I'm doing this right. I hope I am. I don't think I am. No, it has to be. Because the stitch, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm just winging it, y'all. I'm winging it. Let me find my little scissors. And I will trim this off and show you guys what it looks like. Like I say, if I can find my scissors. I can never keep up with anything, y'all. I don't know what my deal is. Let me go get these over here. Okay. So I'm just going to trim around this little pearl section, and then I'm going to do the little like decorative stitching piece for the pearl, which is kind of supposed to make it look like it is rounded, kind of make it look like it has a little glisten to it. I'm definitely glad I went with this material. It's a lot easier to trim than that vinyl stuff, especially if you're going in a circle. Straight lines is not too bad, but trying to go in a circle is kind of iffy. Which I didn't do the greatest trim job, but I can always go back and straighten it up later. Okay, so this is just going to put the little decorative stitch on the pearl. And if you're just joining this, I'm working on making the in the hoop purse for my mermaid doll. It looks like this when it's done. This one I kind of messed up on, so that's why I'm remaking it, is because I'm giving it as a gift. Okay, so now I'm going to that file. So let me add this one. I don't know what's better for you guys. Okay, that's a little better. I'll do it on the side. Okay, and since this didn't really stitch that much, I'm just going to peel it up from the stabilizer very gently. And then I'm going to continue on. So this is just the placement stitch for the rest of the pearl clamshell purse. Guys, please let me know if you're seeing this on YouTube. It's supposed to be streaming to YouTube, but I don't really have a way of checking that it's working. So if you see me on YouTube, please let me know. So this is going to stitch a little circle for, oh, hi, Angela. I just saw your comment. Okay, so it does tell me that you're commenting from YouTube. Okay, that has a little icon next to it. In the beginning of the video, I was saying I figured out why it wasn't going to YouTube last time, because when you first make your channel, it puts a 24-hour hold on it. So that's why that's why I sorry, I'm trying to look at this. But anyway, that's why I couldn't stream yesterday. Okay, so this is the part I messed up on last time. I'm going to be sure I'm doing this right. So, because last time I put this fabric on here, and then I put the other fabric on the back, but it should have been reversed from that. So, I'm going to use the same material again. This is from the ribbon section at Hobby Lobby. It's kind of like vinyl, but it's a little bit more paper-like. I don't really know how to describe it, but I really like to use it. It stitches well. It's not too thick. If you're looking for just vinyl in small amounts for projects, you can get it on rolls in the ribbon section at Hobby Lobby. The brand, I think, is called Ribbon Boutique, I want to say. Making sure I have all this covered. But yeah, Ribbon Boutique. I think normally the rolls are $5, but usually they go on sale for like 40 or 50% off. So then they're only like $2.50 or some odd change. So I wait till they go on sale and get them. But they have. Let me see if I can grab some of these other patterns down here. This came from Hobby Lobby in the ribbon section. This came from Hobby Lobby ribbon section. They have a lot of solid colors. They have this kind, which is one of my favorites. Came from Hobby Lobby. And like I say, they have like this, the gold color. Okay, there's the label right there. So the Ribbon Boutique Faux Leather Wide Ribbon. And like I say, it's on like an end cap, like in the fabric and ribbon section in Hobby Lobby. There is like the main ribbon aisles, and then it's on the end of one of those aisles. At least that's where I found it. This came from there. Those two colors, purple. Anyway, and they've expanded their collection some more. When I first started buying it, they only had a few choices, but they've probably got about, I'd say about 20 different choices now, roughly. And so on this design, this is designed to be applique on here for the purse. I'm not even going to worry about it because it's going to be too much trim, and I didn't even think about it. But that was just the placement stitch. This is the tack down. It's going to be a little bit thicker, so I'm just going to go ahead and run it anyway, just to be sure the white kind of shows up enough to give it that 3D look. If you want to applique something on there, you totally can, but like I say, that's a lot to trim for very little reward. And I like my shiny shell fabric, so I want it to show up. I don't want it to be covered up by other fabric. And I'm using different string this time. You can see this, it's stretchy. For this purse I made, I just used ribbon, but I just didn't really like the look of it, didn't love the color, so I'm going to use this gold. It's gold round elastic. You can see it, it's stretchy, but I think it'll look a little bit better. Okay, it says you lost me for a minute. Yeah, it's giving me a network connection rating of 6 out of 10, so it may not be doing the greatest. I'm connected to our Wi-Fi, which is usually pretty good, but sometimes it gets a little spotty, so I apologize if I am glitchy or anything. Oops. My needle came unthreaded. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna run it back to where I was. I have not used Metro Thread. I've heard people talk about it, but I never have used it. I use Madeira mainly, and then some of my colors are just cheaper ones like Sulky and Gutermann, Soology, stuff like that that you get at Joann or Hobby Lobby. And they work fine. I wouldn't suggest using just the cheaper ones only, but if you need, you know, something low cost or you're in a hurry or whatever, they're fine. I feel like the cheaper threads tend to shred a little bit more and they tend to put off more lint than the nicer threads. But I have heard people talk about Metro Thread, and I've heard good reviews. I don't know that I've ever heard a bad review, so, but I have not personally used it, so I can't really attest to how good it is. Okay, so this is the last step, and you're going to do a few things for this step. So you can take your hoop out and turn it over to the back. So this is what it looks like. So in this step, I'm going to add my elastic, which is going to be for my handles, which I cut a big piece, so I don't really need this much. And really, you can put the handle on the front and stitch through it. It doesn't really matter. I'm looking for tape. So I'm just going to run this down the middle on the back and tape it on. So I'm just going to locate the middle of my thing. Be sure I have enough coming out of either side. Okay. Be sure it's taped well. So I definitely don't want it folding up under when I stitch it. Put one in the middle and put one on the side. Okay, get all that stuck on there. So now I'm going to take my piece I did earlier and I'm going to find, I think it may be under here. I know it's stitched a placement stitch, but I don't remember where it stitched it. I guess it doesn't really matter as long as it's just in the shell. Okay, so this is going to go pretty side up. So you want your piece with your purl up. And like I say, I think it's stitched a placement stitch, but I can't find it. But just be sure your purl is in the middle of the shell. And then you'll be good to go. This will probably not be perfect, but that's okay. I'm going to use some temporary adhesive to hold this on the back because if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm not a huge fan of tape. I'm just using it on this to hold down this elastic so it doesn't move, but and I am going to leave this piece on in the middle just in case the pink piece comes up. It doesn't mess everything up. Okay, so that's on there. So now I'm going to very carefully flip it back over, slide this on here. Be careful nothing gets bunched up or crooked. I'm going to do another look underneath to be sure. Okay, so now this is going to stitch everything together. When you cut this out, Be sure you don't cut through the middle, obviously, because that's what's going to hold it together. Okay, so we are almost done. And if you're stitching this and you feel like something's getting bunched up on the bottom, just pause it, cut your thread, take it off, and fix it, because it's better to do that and then have it fixed rather than stitch it and then have it ruined. So I've had to learn that the hard way a few times as well. Okay, so now we're done. So I'm just gonna take this out. Let me take the stabilizer out and I'll show you what it looks like. I know my hoop is disgusting. It's covered in fuzz from where I've used Minky so much lately. It's on that temporary adhesive and it sticks on there, never wants to come off. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. That's the inside, that's the back side. So now I'm just gonna go and cut it out, but be sure when you get to this part, you cut the top and then you lift that up and cut the bottom, because if you cut through your elastic, it will be ruined. So I guess you could always try to hot glue it back on or sew it with the machine, but it's not going to be the greatest. I'll flip you guys back up here so you don't have to look at a boring sewing machine. Okay. So I'm going to get this cut out and then I am going to work on my towels. If you didn't see the beginning of the video, I was saying I'm going to actually finally put some embroidery on towels for myself. I feel like I never get to embroider anything for myself, hardly. But I've been wanting to do our bathroom towels for forever, and I just never have done it. Angela, have you been on a break from from stitching? I kind of was over the holidays. I worked really feverishly right up until about Christmas, and then things kind of slowed down. I did not have as many people placing orders because of the holidays, so I was able to take a little bit of time off. Okay, so I'm just going to stop when I come to this elastic. So I have one side cut out, and now I'm just going to do the top of this and then the bottom. And I've still got some stabilizer in there too, but you can just rip it out. I'll probably have to go back on, go back and trim this up a little bit. My smaller scissors. Uh-oh. I don't know if you can still hear me. Hear me or not. Something happened to my phone. Oh no, my phone died. I don't know if you can still hear me or not, but my phone died. I'm plugging it back in. I forgot to plug my phone in before I started this. Let it get up to 1% and then I'll turn it back on. Okay. I was wondering what the noise was, and it was my phone vibrating to tell me it was about to die. Okay, let me get back in here. Hopefully this lets me reconnect. Phone is so slow coming on. My phone's been running really slow lately. I think it's because I have so many pictures and videos of my daughter on there. It slows it down. I did just get a expandable memory card though, so I'm hoping that helps some. Okay, we're getting there. We're rebooting. Okay, hopefully this reconnects. Um, okay, I'm gonna see if I can restart this camera. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. I'm gonna go out of it because the camera is a separate app um, from the streaming that I use. Okay. Okay, now we're back. It's like computer inception. Oops. Okay. So let me see if I can get you guys turned back around now that my phone is plugged in. Hopefully I don't lose you again. Okay. I'll get all my charger cables going out of the way. Okay. Sorry about that. I completely forgot to plug my phone in. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on trimming this purse out. And I will try to show you guys my little method for getting towels straight in the hoop when you're going to embroider them. And I guess, I mean, technically it works on shirts or whatever. As long as you can fold it in half, then you can center it. Okay. Okay, so I have almost got this. This is what I have so far. I've still got to touch up the ends a little bit. I'm so paranoid I'm going to clip through this this elastic. Okay, I'm going to go back and touch that up a little bit later, but you can see how I trimmed one side. Got these kind of rogue threads sticking out, but just trim those off. And then on the back, which will be the inside, you have your little pearl. It's basically just applique on there. And when I'm cutting it, I hold the elastic down on this side and then cut it on the other side. Helps it stay out of the way. Which I say elastic, really you could be ribbon or whatever. It doesn't have to be elastic. I just wanted something gold. This was the only gold I had. I really wanted to do a turquoise blue ribbon, but the only one I have has snowflakes on it. I figured that would look kind of weird for a mermaid, so we just rolled with this. Okay. Let me trim the side and then I'll be done with this. I'm very excited to actually stitch these bathroom towels. If you're just joining, I was saying that earlier. I feel like I never get to do any embroidery for myself, so I actually am going to get to embroider my own towels. Okay, this isn't perfect. I'm going to go back and clean it up a little bit later, but you get the gist. So that's what I have with the thread going out, or the elastic on the other side. And you just fold it in half, tie it up, and then the mermaid can put her little finger or hand in there, and it's her little purse. So there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go out of this, and I'm going to go to my nice little peony design that I'm doing. I will try to get my camera over here so I can show you guys how I kind of get my towels aligned in the hoop. Okay. Let me shuffle my computer over a little bit. And I use water soluble for the back of my towels. Some people use tearaway, which on thinner towels, tearaway is not too bad, but I'm doing these thick bathroom towels that are kind of fluffy. So if you use tearaway, a lot of times you have to use a temporary adhesive, and that makes it a absolute nightmare to try to get off of the back of fuzzy towels. So I just stick to my wash away. I'll just run it through the wash and it's gone. Okay, let me get my stabilizer in here, and I'll try to get this phone flipped around so you guys can see how I get it straight in the hoop. Okay. Hopefully I don't come unclipped. Don't pay too much attention to my bed because we live in an apartment, so I have kind of limited space. Okay. Hopefully this thing doesn't give out on me. This phone holder I have is not the best. Okay, so I just take my towel and I'm gonna find the tag. So that's the back side. So I'm gonna do right sides together long ways like this. So that's what you have. This is the folded side here. And you can see on the hoop, the top, there's these little marks, and on the side, they have them too. That's for your center. So I am going to use some temporary adhesive. Like I said, don't use too much, especially if you're using water soluble, because it will disintegrate. I'm going to get my towel nice and folded. You want it folded with the right sides together. So just lightly spray it. And then I'm going to take this fold and align it with those center little plastic marks. Stick it down and unfold. And it's perfectly centered every time. And just be sure one side is not higher than the other, especially with this. You can tell at the bottom with this little decorative stitching that's on there. You can kind of feel and see and be sure that everything's aligned. I've got one side that's just a hair higher. Okay, so that's about perfect. And I am going to put some clear water soluble on top, which you definitely want to use if you're using, or if you're stitching anything fuzzy or with pile or anything like that. I don't need all of this. I'm not exactly sure how big this design is. And also, if you're stitching on a fuzzy towel, you probably want to avoid designs that are light stitching because it will get lost in the pile of the fabric. So I usually try to do something that's a little bit denser. So now I've got my water soluble laid on. So I'm going to pin the water soluble and the towel to the bottom. I'm just going to go all the way around and pin it. And just keep an eye as you're stitching, and make sure you're not getting too close to any of those pins. If you feel like you are, just take it out and move it, or just take it out altogether. You definitely don't want to sew over a pin. And the water soluble is a little bit challenging to pin onto just because it's so thin, but it can be done. Just don't push super hard or it will either rip a hole or it will make itself like stretch where it's not straight anymore. Just be careful of that. Got one more side to do. I'm a pretty liberal pinner because I find that the better it's pinned, the better it stays, and the better your stitching looks. Okay, so now this is what I have all pinned in to the hoop with my water soluble on top. So let me get this flipped back around once again. I unfortunately do not know any movie magic to make this easier. Okay, I'm gonna get my little towel and put it on machine. I'm sure my husband would love for me to do something other than flowers, but oh well. If he wants to come do the work, then he can pick. Okay, so let me get you guys flipped back down here. Pull my little clip a little closer. Okay. It's kind of hard to tell till it starts stitching how it's gonna be. But I'll try to adjust it. Okay. So I'm going to take my design and move it down because I don't want it up super high on the towel. I want it to be able to hang over the towel bar and not bend the design in half. So I'm going to scoot it all the way down. Okay, let me pull up this thread chart. This design is from Embroidery Library. They have some really, really gorgeous designs. Let me know if I lose you guys. I'm switching to a different tab. Let me see if I can just do a screen share. That'll be the easiest thing. Okay, so you guys should be seeing this, hopefully. Okay, I think you can see it. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my order history, which I've spent entirely too much money on this website. So let me find this design. Okay, so here it is, the floral fade peony. So I'm just going to click right here and it's going to give me the thread chart. So let me grab, and a lot of times I don't have the exact colors. I have to kind of wing it. So let's see. Sorry, I'm Googling the color that I need to be sure it's the right thing. Okay. 1047. Okay, so let me take you guys off a screen share. Okay, so I think that's going to be pretty good. kind of tempted to go a shade darker, but I think it's too dark if I do. So I'm just going to do this nice green color. This actually has to stitch for a long time, so I'm sorry in advance if this is not really riveting, but this is what I'm working on tonight. I'm not necessarily doing a tutorial, I'm just kind of working and chatting. Okay. Oops. Okay. So while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and get my other colors ready. Just be sure these like little side flaps of your towel don't fall down, and also be sure they're not tucked under, because then you'll end up stitching your towel to your embroidery hoop, which is no fun. Again, I have learned that the hard way. Let's see if I can try to get you guys down here so you can see what's going on. Sorry, this is not more exciting. I'm trying to find all of these colors. Like I say, a lot of times, actually like 90% of the time, I don't have the exact color, so I just kind of match it as closely as I can. And the embroidery library, their thread color charts are all Madeira colors, but I do believe they have a not companion, conversion chart, so you can trade out colors. So if you use, say, bro thread, leather thread, you can convert it to that. I hope I have all these shades of pink. It's kind of hard to tell when you buy pink thread because it all looks so similar. Sorry, like I say, I know this is not super exciting. I'm trying to find all of these colors. So hopefully this looks good. I've kind of had to wing it on a few of the shades of green for the leaves, but I think it'll be okay. I always love once you start getting into a lot of the colors of the designs because it just feels like it comes to life. Like you can finally see the end goal, I guess. And on the Madeira threads, there's kind of different families. I don't even know how to really describe it. I guess just because I've used the threads enough that I kind of know the families. But you have like all your red, orange, yellow, blue, green, purple. They'll all be like in the 10 series, and you have the same thing in the 11 series, 12 series, so on and so on. That's the first two numbers. And the last two numbers are kind of the different shades, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it, but I was trying to see if I had two colors that were similar. So like this, for example. So these are both 11s. I have 1136 and 1128, and they're pretty similar. They're almost exactly the same color. This one's a little bit darker. But I can also find just trying to see if I can find one that's comparable. Actually, I may not have one. Well, I don't really have one. That was a bad example. I was trying to show one, and now I can't find one. But either way, you kind of, because you can tell like there'll be a group of greens that's a little bit more brown and yellow. Then there's a group of greens that's a little bit more blue. And there's a group of greens that's a little more, like, I don't even know, like a lighter green kind of. There's some that's a little more olive, but they group together. So I'm trying to keep this out of the way on the ball. I was going to say I could tape it, but that's not going to work. It's always harder to see when it's on this side. Once the stitching moves back over here, it's easier to see. I don't think this likes too much more. The embroidery library designs, they're usually really good about their shading. They do a lot of colors to make it really look like it has a three-dimensional look, which I like. I'm just a sucker for like realistic looking designs anyway. Like these flowers are not cartoony looking, they look more like real flowers. And I just think they're really pretty. I love some of the scenes from Embroidery Library. They have several that are like barns or like a fall scene. I'm trying to think. There's some of like the Christmas, like the red truck scene where like it's a dog and it's in the snow and it's really cute. But I just love all those. anything, feel free to share. I know this is not the most exciting thing you've ever seen in your life. I'm trying to trim this purse down some more. I think I finally got my purse looks pretty good. I know you can't see it really great on there, but I'm gonna tie it together. I'm definitely glad I used the gold this time. It's easier to tie for one thing, and I'll get to look at it better. So that's kind of what it looks like now, tied up. I kind of wish the mermaid had some more accessories, but I don't really know what they would be. She should have made like a seashell and made it a shell phone. That would have been super cute. I'm hoping to get back around to do some more doll and stuffed animal tutorials soon. I've got to order some more doll joints from Etsy. I'm almost completely out. Well, I am completely out of the ones that I need for the designs I want to do. I'll always go in and trim these threads as it's going. If you're not confident in that, don't do it. But they just drive me crazy. I don't want to have to cut them later on, so I just go ahead and trim them. Sorry, I know I keep messing with this camera, but I feel like I can just get a better angle. I know that embroidery arm keeps getting in the way. Doesn't have too much left. It's got like 2 more leaves right here, and then I'll move on to the next color. And a lot of times when you're stitching something that has kind of this shading and it's kind of going to have a depth to it, you stitch your lightest color first and then you gradually work down. Sometimes you do stitch your darkest color first and work up. It just depends on if you're going for more shadows or for more highlights as to what is going to stitch first. Okay, so that got done a little bit faster than I thought. Like I say, I'm a stickler about these threads, so I'm going to go ahead and trim them off. So let me double check my next color because sometimes I'm forgetful and I put them in the wrong order. So this isn't exactly, I really wanted one that was a little bit more blue. I'm gonna look one more time. I just don't love this. I feel like it's not exactly the color that I want, but I don't know that I really have anything better. I just feel like that's too yellow. This may be too, that's a little bit. It's actually a little bit closer. It just doesn't have that yellow in it like the other one, and I feel like it's going to be too like yellowy looking if I use that other color. Which this is actually a little bit too green, but I just don't have a good color. Because the color it's showing is kind of a, I don't even know how to describe it, kind of like a eucalyptus color, kind of a grayish green. And I just really don't have anything that looks like that. I think this is probably the closest I'm going to get. I'm just going to roll with this. I don't know. I can't commit. Actually, I think I'm going to go back to my original. I know I'm indecisive. I always doubt myself when I have to sub colors of what's going to be the best. But usually in the end it comes out okay. Because like I say, for a lot of these first colors, they're on the bottom layer, so they're going to get covered up with shading anyway later on, so I'm not super worried about it. One of these years, when I'm rich and famous, I'll have all the colors of thread and I can match it exactly. But I think this will be okay because I had to kind of color match all the shades of green because I didn't have any of the exact ones, so I think it'll be okay. Should have brought my little bag of M&Ms in here. Get me a little snack. Or as my daughter calls them, M&Ms. she can't figure out how to say M and M, so it's just kind of see how it's going to be shaded a little bit. Like I say, it kind of looks crazy until you get all of the layers together and then you can kind of see what it is going to look like. If you guys have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask. I'll try to help you as best I can, whether it's just about embroidery in general or in the hoop projects or what materials I use. Please just let me know. And like I say, I'll try to help you as best I can. so funny looking at it on the monitor in comparison to in real life. It looks so much more 3D on the computer screen versus when I'm looking at it in live. Just goes to show you how much difference a single color can make. And if anybody is wondering if you didn't hear me or weren't on earlier, this design came from Embroidery Library. It's just 2 peonies. It's really pretty. And the machine I'm using is a Brother Innovis NQ1600E 6x10 hoop. And I love this machine. It's excellent. I cannot say enough good things about it. I've been very, very pleased with it. I really want to do some in the hoop projects from Embroidery Library, but I have a love-hate relationship with their in the hoop projects because I love them because they're extremely detailed and look amazing, and you can usually get them for relatively cheap, and they're made well. But I also hate them because whereas lots of in the hoop, well, pretty much every other in the hoop project I've ever done, other than from them and Urban Threads, they're owned by the same people. For instance, if you saw my seahorse video the other day or my mermaid video, you know that you sew everything together, then you take it out of the hoop, and then you cut it out. With the Embroidery Library and the hoop stuff, you don't do that. You pre-cut all of your pieces, which is extremely time-consuming. And then you, I don't even know how to explain it. You kind of applique it onto the stabilizer, and it tacks it down. Because a lot of theirs are panels that you sew together or glue together in the end. It doesn't attach it for you in the hoop. And it makes for some really detailed stuff. I made the Christmas train that came from there. I made the gingerbread house, the red truck. I made all of those, and they all took me probably 3 to 5 days to make for each one. So they're, like I said, they're extremely detailed and look amazing once they're finished, but they are not easy to get started on. Cut this little thread because I don't want it to get sewn under. It can make it look weird. And I always kind of look, because like I said, on this design, I kind of had to just color match the greens as best I could. But like for the very first color, it called for a color called Celadon, I think that's what it's called. I guess that's how it's pronounced. But I didn't have that exact color, so I just got the one closest to it. And I wanted to get it almost as exact as possible because it was about 12 or 13 minutes of stitching, so I knew there was going to be a lot of it. And then, for instance, on color number 3, I don't have a color that matches extremely well, but it only stitches for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So I know it's not going to be a lot to deal with, so I'm not as worried that it doesn't match as well. Don't do that. I'm a bad influence. Don't cut threads while your machine's running. Okay, like I say, this one only stitches for 3 minutes. And like I said, I'm not so worried about this one not matching exactly because it doesn't hold as much weight, I guess, as the other ones. If I can find my small thread cap. I swear I just laid it right here. Oh, on the last spool of thread I always have the hardest trouble matching greens. I feel like they're the most difficult to match because some of them really lean towards yellow and like yellowy bright greens, and then other ones lean toward brown, and then the other ones lean towards like mint, and then you have your turquoises and like your Christmas greens and stuff like that. And there's just so many to choose from. It's hard to match exactly. As you can see, this one's just kind of doing the edges of the leaf. It's not super in depth, so like I said, I'm not worried that it doesn't match exactly. And with these dense designs, always be sure that you have a fresh needle. I just changed mine yesterday. I didn't stitch that much with it, so that's why I just changed it just now. But if you're going to be sewing through multiple layers, you want to make sure you have a really short needle. Because if you have a dull needle, your thread will just keep breaking. Busy day today. I've been trying to clean the house, trying to finally get the rest of the Christmas stuff taken down. I think I finally got everything after much trial and tribulation. I think my daughter is still convinced that it's Christmas because now every night when I put her to bed, she goes, "Merry Shishi, Merry Christmas." She goes, "Happy New Year." Well, you know, I guess you can just keep believing it's Christmas. Certainly better than a lot of the other crap that's going on in the world. I'm really excited to start stitching these flowers because, like I say, peonies are my favorite flowers, and I'm just like dying to see how this stitches out. It does not feel like Friday. This entire week, not even just today, this entire week, I've had no clue what day it was any day. I think that's what always happens at the new year, though. You switch years and nobody knows what's going on, especially in this time of lockdown. Everybody's been just in a time standstill, I think. But it definitely does not feel like Friday to me. Because I kept thinking my husband had to get up and go to work tomorrow, and he was like, no. I really hope the weather will get warmer tomorrow, but I don't know if it will be. It's been pretty cold here. We're in Tennessee. We're about 30 minutes south of Nashville, give or take, maybe 40. But it actually snowed here yesterday, which I was shocked because we haven't had snow in I don't even know how long, a long time. I don't even know if it snowed last year at all. Maybe just like once on the rooftops, but there's actually nothing. The ground was covered and the cars were covered. But I'm hoping it's a little bit nicer tomorrow. My daughter got a little, like, not Hot Wheels, Power Wheels, a Power Wheels car that she can actually sit in and quote unquote drive, which really I have a remote control for it, so I drive it, but she thinks she drives it. And she's been dying to go outside and drive it, but it's just been too cold. And then, of course, like typical Tennessee, last week, I guess it was, we had a day where it was literally like 75. It was wonderful. And then it snowed a few days later. If you've never been to Tennessee, that's what's waiting for you. Nobody knows what day it is or what season it is. And my husband used to live in Nashville when we first got married. And there was a really pretty peony bush that grew right at the back of our house, right up next to the wall. It had these beautiful, bright pink blooms that came out every year. I just loved it. I've always loved peonies. I don't know why, but I just think they're so pretty. Okay. Let me double check my colors again because sometimes I get them out of whack. So 5. Okay. And this is another one I had to just kind of color match, which it actually is pretty close to exactly what it calls for. This one's a little bit more brown, but it still looks okay. Sorry, I'm trying not to bump the phone, but it's hard to thread the machine. Cut off the little strings. This is the last green. To move on to the nice pretty colors. I'm happy with how those leaves turned out. I probably could have done a little less blue on this one, but I'm not mad about it. I think overall it looks okay. I think these are kind of supposed to be in the shadow because the flower is going to be here, and so it's supposed to look kind of like a shadow on the bottom. So I think by the time I get it all done, it'll be okay. I'm not worried about it. Love these leaves. I think they just turned out so good. I'm happy with the colors I picked. I'm glad I went with my first choice for that green. I was indecisive on, but if I had gone darker, it would have been weird. ahead and get ready with the next color. Okay. And we get to do some pretty pink finally. And especially with these more dense designs, just be sure you're using a really good quality water-soluble topper like this. It's a little bit thicker than some of like the sulky. This is Pelon. I think it's just called Wash and Go On, I think. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's a little bit thicker, especially for these more dense, fluffy towels. It works better than the really thin stuff. It has the tendency to tear, that thin stuff does. Probably I'm not going to keep you guys on for this entire project because it takes 101 minutes to stitch the entire thing, and we're only at 29, so I don't think I can keep up conversations that long. So we'll probably go through a couple more colors, and then I'll let you guys go tonight. I love this color pink too. And that bright bubblegum pink, I just think it's so pretty. Pink is my favorite color. I know that's kind of cliche, but I just love pink. Almost done with this color. And we'll got one more little section. Okay. Change this over. Old squeaky desk chair. Oops. Okay. Just some shading. I know I said I'm not going to keep you guys on the whole time, but I will I will hang on to this project once it's done so I can show you guys how it comes out in the next video. Okay. So, cranberry. This one's almost the same color I just did, but just slightly different. Oops, sorry, I keep bumping my camera. Okay. The only downside to using cones of threads because you have to unstring everything every time. It takes forever. Okay, so that was a fast one. Oops. That's gotta be like one of the most frustrating things is when you have a lot of thread changes and they only stitch for like 30 seconds each. It's like, just want to be able to cut it loose. Okay, so this is going to do the main part of the flower. I'm going to go ahead and pick out some of my colors. Sorry, I'm not talking more. I'm trying to pick out these colors. this design, there's really not too many colors, but it just repeats a lot because it layers up and does a lot of shading. So you use a lot of the same colors multiple times. But it's really not bad because it gives a really cohesive look in the end because all of your colors are coordinated. Get you guys back up here. So this is still got a while left to stitch. Like I say, I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch this for however long it takes, almost 2 hours, hour and a half. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking with me this far. This is my little shawl purse I made earlier. I didn't get to show the finished project very well. Untie it. That's the inside. Just a little pearl. I'm trying to think. Tomorrow is Saturday. I don't know that I'll be on tomorrow. Might be. If I am, it's probably going to be a fairly short night, kind of like tonight. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't have really any outstanding things I'm working on, and I've got to kind of wait to get doll joints for a lot of the other big projects to do tutorials. So until that happens, I may kind of have a lower online presence. But anyway, I will keep you guys updated. Thanks for sticking with me through the technical difficulties. I hope to see you guys soon.